Hey guys, it's Roberto. So I'm still traveling. You guys probably have seen that from some of the recent content lately. And I've been promising you guys that I would just record more of my day and my thoughts and things that are going on with me. And so that's what this video is, and there'll be some more short videos like this in the future. This is a rant, but not a rant. And from the title, you kind of guess what it's about. This one is how to know if you're a sellout. Now, there's a lot of reasons I made this video. I've actually hinted at this for months because of a topic that I brought up about starving artist versus sellout, and I've been planning that video. That one's much more tongue-in-cheek and theatrical. This one is just a little bit of a brain dump of my thoughts because it came up last week after I did an interview with a very good friend of mine, and we were talking about some of the things we're doing in our business, and I brought up that there are going to be books and ebooks that I will be writing. Some of the ebooks will be tactical stuff. Some of it will be YouTube, but some of it will be more online business and personal branding and stuff like that. More the marketing side of things that people are struggling with. And there were a lot of feedback comments. The majority of them, 99%, were like overwhelmingly positive because some of you have been asking for some more detailed information on a lot of these topics, things that I can't always cover in a video. Some of you want the structure that courses and things provide. And there are also a lot of you who you can't come to workshops or speaking engagements that I do when I travel. And so I wanted to do something that really works for you guys. And we've actually talked about it. And some of you are actually in like beta programs and in Facebook groups and Slack channels with me where we're figuring out what would be the best fit and what would work. The reason I bring that up is because the 0.01% of people are hitting me with this, oh, you and so-and-so and so-and-so and this other YouTube expert, you're all sellouts. And every time I watch a video from you guys, you're selling something. I don't come here from that because YouTube is about free content. We support you enough by watching. I skip ads because of stuff like this, blah, 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 blah. And I find that, one, I'm getting really irritated with the majority of the YouTube culture. I've actually stayed out of the YouTube culture. And it's why I avoid YouTubery things, because I see enough like stupidity in the business world, let alone the land of social media sometimes. And I just like to ignore those things. And the reasoning is this. People throw the word sellout around willy-nilly with no real understanding or sense of what it actually means. You know, selling stuff and selling stuff that you believe in or that you've worked on or your art, even in a free platform, doesn't make you a sellout. Being successful doesn't make you a sellout. Making money on things you love doesn't make you a sellout. So let's identify how you figure out if you're a sellout. Because the thing is, with the people who do hit me with this, it made me think about it. I had to ask myself, I had to do what I usually do. I do this litmus test. I'm like, oh, do they have a point? Because, you know, I do hear, I do listen, I do consider the possibility that I'm not always right. The thing is, when I do that, I then ask myself some questions. Do I do the things that I believe in? Yes. Am I compromising my values? No. Am I selling things that I don't believe create value for other people or don't have any possibility of creating value for other people? No, I don't. All right, then I guess that means that I passed this test. I'm not a sellout. You know what being a sellout actually looks like? I don't think the far majority of people do. I don't think the far majority of people know what being a sellout looks like. But they should. Because I remember a time where I might have actually been able to say I was a sellout. If you're working a job where you don't agree with what people are doing, but you don't say anything and you help them execute it anyway, then you have to consider whether you're a sellout or not, because you're doing that for expediency. You're doing that because you have a paycheck on the line. You're doing things that you don't believe in. You might be selling a product or a service that you don't believe in via your job, via your employer, because it's what your livelihood and your paycheck depends on. And I'm not going to knock you for that. I'm not going to judge you for that. I'm just saying that before you consider throwing out whether anybody else is a sellout, you should probably use the method I explained in this video to ask yourself some honest questions about what you're doing and whether you in fact could be considered a sellout. You know, Casey Neistat actually recently did a video about this where he explained that a lot of people are hitting him based on decisions he's made and things that he's doing and are calling him a sellout. But I think that they fundamentally don't understand the things that Casey wants or the things that Casey does believe in, because Casey's not doing anything he doesn't believe in order to make money. He's doing things he actually believes in, and money is coming in as a consequence. The problem is that sometimes those things don't line up with what other people who support him and follow him believe in. And that's why I think personally in that particular video, people are wanting to call him a sellout, is because they don't agree. They don't believe in something. Casey did something they don't believe in for money. And so that makes him a sellout. But that's not accurate. That's not the definition of a sellout. Compromising your morals, your opinions, your beliefs. Even if you did something horrible, but you believed in it and you made money, but you didn't believe it was horrible, you are not a sellout. Like anyone following Lord Voldemort and the Death Eaters that actually believes in their cause is a zealot, is a horrible person. But if you actually believe in the cause of the Death Eaters, you're not a sellout. You're just not. So, in other words, I think that when you sit there and you're going to throw out something like calling someone a sellout, or you're going to say that somebody is egotistical, or any number of words that get abused in the English language, probably look up Merriam-Webster's dictionary first, instead of using it in the context that everyday people are using it, because those everyday people could be wrong. Being a sellout comes down to doing things you don't believe in, selling things you don't believe in, advocating for causes you don't believe in because of either financial gain, political expedience, or some other value that you want to siphon off of it. i.e. in YouTube land, if you were doing stuff just to get views that you don't believe in, that's you being a sellout. If you were doing something or doing a sponsorship for money and you don't believe in the product, that's you being a sellout. When I review products and I work with brands here on the channel, I do it because it's either something that I do use or it's something that I would use if I was in the budget situation of someone in the audience. There are things that I use that are just going to be priced out of certain people's range that their wallet is just not going to support right now. And I believe in advocating for some of these small solutions. There are smaller companies that do a great job that sometimes cannot compete with bigger companies. And so sometimes I'll want to work with them and do an influencer deal to give them more reach and more exposure because they can't get it. It's just like how a lot of small YouTubers so desperately want shout outs and they'll do anything to get a shout out because if only they could get more exposure, their content's so good, right? Well, I believe that there are companies out there that are trying to help creative people with technology solutions or services that are missing out on opportunity to help a lot of people because nobody knows about them. So sometimes I'll work with those companies, even if it's not something I would need to use because I can afford the big stuff. When I have friends that get interviews here on the channel and some of them might have written a book or they're releasing a course or a product, I'm letting them do that because it's something that someone, even one person in this community, might actually benefit from. And so I want to make sure that they're in a position to get that value. There are a lot of you who don't know about some of the creative people that I know or met, or some of the people from the business world that I know or met, and they're people that might be able to help you or that you might want to work with in the future in some capacity, but you don't know who they are. And so by not having them in a channel, in a situation where it's a win for them, it's a win for the audience, it's a win for me, then if I don't do those things because I'm worried about the 0.01% of people who will call me a sellout or a shill or want to talk trash, then by not doing that and by being scared, I'd rob you guys of value. So what I will do and what I will continue to do is to be unashamedly aggressive about fighting for anything that I think is worth putting out there to give creatives the shot at being successful that I think that they deserve. And I will do that in the way that I see fit. I will try to take feedback from you guys. Those of you who are capable of constructive criticism, I'll take it where I get it. And the rest of you who have no idea what you're talking about, that's what a delete button's for. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me for this rant, not rant. What I would love for you guys to do is in the comment section, I would like to hear stories about situations where you've had to compromise or things that have made you uncomfortable or made you feel like a sellout. I know in my corporate career, those things came up week after week, over and over again. And it was so uncomfortable. And in building a business, I wanted to build something where I would never have to do that, but also where other people who might be in my employ later would never have to feel that kind of discomfort and would have a place where they feel they can be honest and open about the direction that things are going, and that they could, if something's legitimate, that they would have the opportunity to hit me on it. And I just feel like more employers could do that and should do that. I think that people who don't, I'm just going to say it, I think that they're soft, but that's my opinion. That's my criticism, my judgment. But I just feel that if you can do something you love and not feel that you're having to compromise, that you can create something awesome and share it with the world, that you can do work that you believe in, that you're proud to sign your name to, I think that that matters. And I think that more people would be happy if they found themselves in that situation. But I think that there are a lot of people out there that are jealous of other success or people that they see doing that, and that it's easier to attack them and throw words like sellout in their face rather than accept the truth, which might be you need to just keep working to get yours and not worry about what other people are doing. Success and greatness is going to be predicated on your actions, not worrying about what other people are doing or, investing a huge amount of your emotions in their success or how they got it. Anyway, like this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the other awesome non-ranty stuff on the channel, you guys. As always, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, create something awesome today. And realize that when you do, some people are going to call you a sellout.